Okay, so when you're dealing with two sides of a triangle, let's say they're giving you 8 and 19, and they're asking for possible lengths, we can consider that as a range. Now working on the understanding that two sides of a triangle have to be greater than the third. And that's any combination, but let's just look at x and y. And we're trying to solve for the range of this missing side here. Now one way to do that is to find the difference of 8 and 19. Because I know what number plus 8 is going to give me a number greater than 19. Well, if I do 19 minus 8, I would get 11. So I understand that this side here actually needs to be greater than 11. Because if I did 11 plus 8, that would be 19. It would be equal to 19, but not greater. So this is starting to help me find my range. Now if I look at, okay, what is the biggest this side could be? Well, 8 plus 19, or 19 plus 8, is 27. So if this side is 27, then this side needs to be less than 27. So this helps me find my range. This helps me find my range of a third side. Now let's look at question number 3 here. A triangle has sides 2.4, 3.8, 5, and then they give you the value of the three other angles here. Now the size of these angles has a direct relationship to the size of these sides. This being large, small, and a medium, and this being the large, medium, and the small. Meaning that if this is my large angle, the side opposite, for instance, this 104, this is my large angle, the side opposite needs to be my 5. Now, since they're telling me that this side is 3.8 and this side is 2.4, okay, this answer A actually does show me which drawing shows parts of the triangle. If I look at the other problems, just to show what's incorrect about them, here's a 48. 48 is my medium, and my side here, 3.8 should be the 3.8 should be here, not here. That's what makes answer choice B incorrect. Let's say I'm looking at this triangle here. Right away we see in this triangle my side opposite the 104 should have been 5. So they're saying this side here is 5, okay, where it needs to be here. So this is why this answer choice is wrong, because the 5 is in the wrong place. Basically you have to make a triangle out of each of these questions. If you're looking at this one here, smallest angle, smallest side should have been here, not here. And again, this is why my side 5, which is opposite the large angle, this is correct. That's where we're going, answer choice A. Let's look at another couple of examples here. Here's an example where you have the triangles. But they give you fractions. They give you fractions as sides of the triangle, so it makes it a little bit more difficult when you're trying to solve for these angles. Now, best way to deal with this, right, is actually you can use a calculator and say, okay, 6 times 2 plus 5 is, if I make this a mixed number here, is going to be 17 over 6. And then I can make this 17 over 3. 3 times 5 plus 2, 17 over 3. So if I want to find my range, I can do one side. Let's take the bigger side, 17 over 3 minus 17 over 6. Now this gives me a decimal, but there is a function here that allows me to find a fraction, and it tells me that this minus this is 17 over 6. Now if I want to make this a mixed number, 6 goes into 17 twice with 5 left over. So actually my range, when I subtract these two, I actually get a similar side here. Now if I want to add the two, I could do 17 thirds plus, see how I'm making a fraction here, I'm putting the fraction inside the parentheses, plus 17 over 3. And I get 11.33. Make that a fraction. 34 divided by 3 is actually 11 and 1/3, so it needs to be less than 11 and 1/3. So it asks what could be the value of a possible range of value here. So we'll know that 2 and 5/6, 2 and 1/2. Actually, this should be, oh, I made a mistake. I did 17/3 plus 17/3. It should have been 17 divided by 3 plus 17 divided by 6. I bet you it's going to give me 8 and 1/2. Which it does, 8.5, which is 8 1/2. So this should actually be 8 1/2. Now remember, it can't be equal to that, so it actually needs to be in between that. So I would know my answer choice B is something in between these two fractions. Another way to do that without the calculator, maybe a shortcut way, is to look at this like a 3 and look at this like a 6. So basically, I'm just making this whole numbers. I'm taking away the 5. I rounded this up to about a 3. And then I could say, okay, my range is about 3, in between 3 and 9. Now, if you look, the answer that best fits X, the answer that's most in between 3 and 9, is the 6 and 5/8. So if yeah, the 8 1/2 does fit in there. Look at these. Still, these two answers still don't fit in there. But yeah, the 8 1/2 would, but it's awfully close to 9. Where you see the 6 and 5/8 is basically right in between. So this is a way to maybe solve for this without using the calculator and adding the fractions here. Last question we're going to look at. Again, when you're dealing with geometry, it's best to draw the triangle, give the sides. Obviously not draw it to scale here, but it gives me an idea where everything is. It also tells me the angle opposite 3.2 is 20. So they're asking which angle measure could be opposite to 9.2. Well, this is a type of question where you're testing answer choices, or it's best to do that. So let's just say it's 60 degrees. Now 20 plus 60 is 80. If I take that from the 180, that would make the remaining angle 100 degrees, which is what is here. Now, this is the biggest angle. Is the biggest angle opposite the biggest side? No. So I know answer choice A can't work, and I know that I actually, since 9.2 is my biggest side, I don't even want to attempt to solve for 40 because that's making this angle smaller. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to use C, my biggest angle here. I'm gonna make this 100 degrees, and it makes sense here because this ends up being 100. And if I did 20 plus 100, I added the 20 which they gave me, and the 100 which I'm using from the answer choice, and I subtract that from 180, and I get 60 degrees. This becomes 60 degrees. And if I want to just look at that triangle redrawn and say, okay, opposite 80 is 60 degrees, opposite 90 is 100, and opposite the 3.2 is 20. Everything works out. Largest angle, largest side, medium angle, medium side, and then smallest side, smallest angle.